This is Galactic from Chico, California, late on the last Sunday of April 2025. You'll see over here I have some notes. What is it again? Quantum mechanics? Well, that's not a very good name. There's nothing mechanical about quantum mechanics, and no one yet, to the present day, has ever defined what is meant by quantum. Quantum is one of those words like big, black, bang, hole, because science has reached the end of its rope, and it's been a century now. The only so-called science going forward now, certainly since World War II, is purely governmental. Every single form of science, certainly in America, but I would say it's probably worldwide now, the world having been infected by European pseudoscience. And that's the way it's going right to the end. In the middle of this horrifying reversal, or about 1900, things started to go wrong when Max Planck dubiously introduced the idea of a quantum. And he did not use that word because he didn't know what it was that he had discovered. He did not want to discover it. Then Einstein, one of the greatest somethings in all history. Everyone knows Einstein's name, but why? Why does anybody even care about Albert Einstein? Well, it's because of what he did for the government. And if Adolf Hitler hadn't been insane, literally out of his fucking mind, he was a murderer, of course. All politicians are nuts. But if one could just envision a world where the exiles from the Levant, who would come to Germany as well as Ukraine, Russia, and Poland, they also went to Germany. And this is in fulfillment of the Mosaic curse, which you're too stupid to even understand what I just said, because you're an American retard. So this is truth time. It's time to actually start talking about things the way they really are. So about 1900, you get Max Planck, who, very tragic figure, not from the Levant. He actually was German. But Albert Einstein was a naturalized German. You say Switzerland, it's exactly the same fucking thing, okay? Switzerland is not a real country. Germany is. And if only Hitler had somehow been magically blessed by Tinkerbell, the magic Teutonic fairy, so that he just did not just hate every single goddamn fucking person from the Levant, then Albert would have done for Germany what Albert ended up doing at Princeton for the United States. And so the old fascists were wiped out by the new fascists, and Albert died in the United States. A naturalized Levantine man. There's this word J-E-W, which is so pathetic in the mouths of anybody. A populist or a politician, religious person or agnostic, it makes no difference. J-E-W is a term used exclusively by shitheads. People without education. It's sad most of them actually do have some education, but anybody who says J-E-W is simply ignorant. A J-E-W is a Yehudin, which is one of the tribes. God murdered his first 10 tribes and left Judah very reluctantly. Did not want to keep Judah alive at all. But he had to, because he had made the promise that the healer of the earth, according to the ancient Zoroastrian religion, this man would be born in a city that was actually named and would end up the man who would heal the earth, but not in his first pass here. He was murdered. That man's name was Yeshua. Yeshua HaMashiach. Something no American can understand the words coming out of my mouth, because Americans are collectively retards. They're retarded. So they think that Yeshua was a J-E-W. You could say that, but that would be still not scientifically accurate. He was a member of the tribe of Yehuda, who is where we get the word mother from. You can find that out. Probably an Urban Dictionary if there's someone. There's a lot of intelligent people that make contributions to Urban Dictionary so that you know the meanings of things like asshole and a lot to do with sex. So Yeshua was one of those ancient tribal people. Now you should know that the Yehudans, who are an Israeli tribe, I know this is all new to you, nobody ever told you this, that's because your government is trying to keep you retarded so they can control you. Now when it came to World War II, Einstein got the word, he got the word through some fellows, that he needed to get to the United States if he wanted to save his motherfucking ass. So he did. And so he invented the fission bomb for the United States with the help of such assholes as Oppenheimer and Feynman. Both of whom are actually traceable back to that tribe. Oppenheimer. Now, instead of saying J-E-W, which you're not allowed to say now, you're stupid if you say the J-E-W word at any time. You can call them Benjis if you want to be lighthearted. I don't recommend that either, because everything is taken pejoratively. Not by the J-E-Ws themselves, but by their masters. The Zionist Sanhedrin, which somehow has come back to life like a sleeping dragon. That's in Revelation, by the way. It's the beast. That's Israel. You are allowed to say that, because you can say that in the United Nations. So the United Nations was founded by the head of communism, which was started by the Zionists, and Franklin bullshit Roosevelt, the cripple, who put their heads together the one and only time that Russia and the United States, when we still called him Uncle Joe, and he probably called us motherfuckers behind our back, but they decided to form the United Nations. And this was sent down to the preparatory nation. The Zionists were already in Israel by the mid-1940s. They had been stealing and, in fact, buying land in Israel, but was then part of the crumbling Ottoman Empire, which was temporarily taken over by the decadent motherfucking British. And then they gave the go-ahead. Oh, no, go ahead, Uncle Joe and Crip. Form the United Nations so we can officially destroy the earth, come back to life, and start genocide against the people of God, who are the Islam people. They're actually replacements for the Israeli tribes. Because God has children. Now you, of course, if you've heard of God, you hate him, because you're an ignorant bullshit American. So we're getting into some science here. I just wanted to let you know that the tides have changed. I'm not going to care too much about your feelings anymore, because your feelings literally are causing all the problems. You don't have an opinion. What you have is someone else's opinion who forced it down your throat. That's why you're either an atheist or just an equally stupid imbecile. You don't know anything about world politics. You don't know what's going on in science. You don't know what's happening to you. You have no way out. You're trapped. You turn to drugs and shit-ass music, as well as the usual videos. I don't fit into that picture at all. I have nothing in common with you as a person of intellect. I recently found this book, within the past 10 years anyway. Just want you to see the title of this. This is going to hurt you. I couldn't give a fuck what hurts you. This is the complete book of Enoch, a story you'll never know because you're too stupid to understand anything anymore. You don't know how to look for truth, you don't know how to think for yourself, you don't trust any wise man. That leaves me out. And all you do is just exist. Kind of like the dogs that you love. You know, that's what the Israelis called the tribes around them. Dogs. They still do. I don't know if you know that. They hate Christians. But they hate someone a lot more than Christians. They'll get around to the Christians later. First they have to get rid of, I would estimate, about 10 million Iranians. The Palestinians are dog shit to them. They mow the lawn about once every 5 years. They've been doing that for about 40 years. Just go in and just rapaciously kill thousands of innocent brown people. This is the point I wanted to make. The Yehudans who were kicked out of Israel by their own deity for murdering Yeshua, they were kicked out according to the Mosaic curse to the four corners of the world. They went as far as Harbin, China. They made it to the four corners of the world. Certainly Argentina, as you may be aware. Now, they also went to England. And, of course, the United States is filled with Yehudans. You would think so. They're actually a tiny percentage of the United States population. But wherever the Yehudans appeared, of course, they became the most important people in the nation, and Germany was no exception. Hitler had been raised right in the lap of Marx and Engels. So what Hitler knew that he hated and had to destroy was called Zionism, and he was right. And even if he had killed 10 million Jews and won the war, it would have been worth it to get rid of Zionism. But he fell short, just as Napoleon did, of Moscow. He didn't make it to Moscow. He didn't make it to Leningrad either, which at the time I believe was called Stalin. Well, there's Stalingrad and Leningrad. Gee, I wonder who they're named after. Well, Moscow should have been named Moshigrad, because it's run by Zionists. And you don't know that because you're not allowed to know, and you don't know how to find out for yourself. You'll never trust a wise man. So you don't know what the hell's going on. So the Zionists of Russia, who killed 100 million white people, you could say that was genocide. The World Court does. The adjudication of actual wise men, of whom I'm a fledgling member. Yeah, 100 million white people? Yeah, those goddamn Jews murdered 100 million white people. Now they're going to kill about the equivalent number of brown people. But you notice that all of the Yehudi are white now. That's not entirely true. There are some brown ones in Tunisia and through North Africa and all the way over to Ethiopia. There are actual Jews. Those are Jews. But the whites that invaded Israel from Europe they're all white. They're not in any way connected with ancient Israel. They're not a tribe of Israel. But the Zionists want to bring back the nation. So there's your brainwashing. Now this book that I just flashed on the screen, just basically to torture you, make you shit in your pants. This is the oldest book in the world. And it's from before the flood. That's a remarkable statement. You've never heard of Enoch, except you may know that it's a name that you know nothing about and care nothing about. He was the second prophet. The first one was Adam. And Adam, we know, wrote down something because it's Adam who wrote the first chapter of the book called Genesis, which is an accurate, absolutely scientifically verified, full disclosure of the manufacture of the earth. The heavens and the earth refers to the solar system, not the stars. I used to talk in my church days when I was still stupid like you and attended churches. I would get into, I was innocent. I had no idea these men and women who occupy churches are absolute poison. And we would talk sometimes about the Genesis record. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There were some jackasses. They were actually professors of, one was a professor of mathematics and another one was a high-scale professor, very well-paid professor. And these nutcases tried to tell me that God created all of the stars of heaven on the fourth day of creation. It's no wonder nobody likes religion with men like that around. And even with men like me around, it's not going to help. It's far, far too late for, my community, California, United States, the Western world, the whole world, it's all over. The world should be snuffed out within the next decade. I hope to be gone by then, but I couldn't care less, actually. So the book of Enoch is well worth reading, and the reason I say that is because I know you won't read it. But I'm here to just be witness to you. I warned you that you should read that. And after you read it, you should read the only religion on earth that credits that book. It's called Islam. Islam means the way. That's short for the way of heaven. They're blessed by Almighty God. The neighboring tribes that are related, they're all called Semitics, if you want to use the word Semitic correctly. Most Semites are Arabs and Persians. Those are the two main groups of the descendants of Abraham. Also, they're both descendants of Isaac. But as for Jacob, that's the father of the 12 tribes, 11 of whom were obliterated by the command of God, and you can read that in the Bible. The only nation, really 10 out of 12 of the tribes, I say 11, but whatever, God told them to get lost, and then they did get lost. Have you ever heard of a people just disappearing off the face of the earth? Nobody knows what happened to those 10 tribes. If anybody could have found out, I could have. Nobody knows. Nobody ever found out. So that's the magnificence and the vengeance of the Creator. The one who made you, by the way, whether you care or not. I'm here to indict you with the truth now. I'm not here to help you with the truth. You're beyond help. Of course, I always hope, don't I? Not anymore. Not for you, whoever you are. I know you. You'll never make it. You'll never come around. You'll never read that book. You'll never read the Quran. You'll never stop and take the time to think about why you were born. You've been brainwashed and it's too late to save you. I'm very, very disgruntled. Now, I'm the happiest man in the world, so this is quite elliptical. I do try to get this out of my system, though, because very shortly I'm going to go live, as I've been promising for well over a year. I may never do it. I may not be able to. I can't remember how to do it. And I may just give up in disgust. I'll probably continue to make these videos, but my heart is no longer in it. It's been 3 years now, without a bite. I came close twice. I got some professional attention, and then they just disappeared without a trace, just like the goddamned Israeli tribes. Because they're cowards. They're cowards. I hate American scientists, especially the mathematicians. But then, I'm pretty unhappy with humanity as a whole. I'm 70 and 1/3 years old. I'm ready to go. And that's coming up on 20 minutes. The maximum for a retarded American audience. That's redundant. Stay tuned.